Good evening, everybody. Deadman Walking 55 here, coming to you from the East Coast of the United States of America in Eastern Time Zone. Hey, we're 2 minutes late, but hey, what's new around here? A little boomerang, and I cannot type and talk, which always is a pain in the butt for me. But hey, that's okay. We're here tonight. We're not at work. We're actually going to have fun tonight. Our chill chat, chilling with are really a cool way to spend some time with some people that we've not met before, or we've met and get outside of some normal constraints of programming and stuff. Well, let me go ahead and introduce you to tonight's guest, folks. It's a guy that I've been seeing around all of YouTube for a couple years now. He is in chats of Fortnite. He likes his own types of gaming too, but he's really famous for the anime work he does and studying anime, talking anime, and everything you want with anime. But without further ado, let me say hello and welcome our guest tonight, Brandon the Anime Guy. Hey, Brandon.
Well, hello there, Dad Man. It's good to be here. Thank you so very much.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on my channel for once. You had me on yours a couple times, so that was always awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to have someone on who not too big into anime and help steer in the right direction and get some good stuff going.
Absolutely, of course. In honor of you, I chose the bloodstained spatter tonight. I love that evil laugh. There you go. Kind of fits in with that avatar you got right there.
Yeah, this is a take on Alucard from Hellsing Ultimate, adjusted. Mm-hmm. I've actually got a plethora of them, and let me only take just a second here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here's my original.
Okay.
Here's my After Dark alter ego, a little more sinister.
Ooh, yeah, pentagram in there too.
What I would look like if I was Asian, I guess.
Okay.
An AI thing made that, but I liked it well enough, and it caught my essence with my longer hair that I had at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Me as a straw hat, and of course, what I am when I'm feeling kingly.
Oh, there you go. That is very, very nice. Very nice. Lots of avatars there you've got. Oh, shoot. I had the wrong button, Brandon.
Oh.
I already boomered it. But hey, well, see, this is my avatar that's now. My kid actually made this for me, Ang.
Yes.
Because when I got into streaming, well, I played Fortnite for a long time, even before I got into streaming, and I was always for sports. Well, when I started the channel, I was focusing on Fortnite and sports. Well, really sports. Then when I found out how to stream from the PS4, added Fortnite. So my kid decided when we started in the midst too, when we got our own channels, we felt like, well, let's do something different. Let's do something unique that's ours. And Ang made this for me, and I'll make it larger here. That it's a combination of a banana, which is Peely from Fortnite, and a football. Well, if you look at the football, it's got the black tips. It's also got the little dimples that you would see on a football.
Yep.
And the stitches right at the seam, not as Frankenstein, but as a football you would have. So that is how this avatar came to be. And also, let me see. Let me do this real quick. There was also but the one that you might remember me first from, I think, and other people, they go back a long time.
That one.
This one. Yep. The one that really rocked some chats and stuff when this thing popped up and made an appearance. So this was the Zuni Fetish Doll from Trilogy of Terror. And it created an impression, I will say, to say the least. So
yeah, that it did.
So we got that, and then my kid also made this one for me, which is a little different. So we got a little bit of options and things that we had here, but not quite as you got some really nice ones right there. That is really fascinating. So do you pick your avatar now? The missus chose the one in the tweet that went out earlier, our thumbnail. She picked that one. So you pick your avatar based on the mood sometimes? Is that right?
Sometimes. So this one's become more of my main one, but the other one I had was the one that was created by Fet for Hire originally, and then the second one, the After Dark one, was created by Whitechapel, and then the AI created the third one. But yeah, this one is the current rendition that I typically run with.
Oh, that's neat, though. Really, really nice artwork, all of them that are there. Well, we got 6 people with us. We're on the Twitch side tonight and on YouTube. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and which is Dadman Walking 55. Also, YouTube here at Dadman Walking 55. We are now up to 607 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for all your support. Leave a like or follow on Twitch. Leave a like here or subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Cannot do this without your guys' support. We appreciate all you do. And great guests like Brandon Ian coming tonight, spending the evening with me. And a little bit of time, and we're going to get to know him a little bit more. As I said, the Chillin Wits are a little bit more laid back type formats. We kind of use the force. We go with wherever we go with some of the topics. A lot of times we talk about things that interest of the guest, and sometimes questions come from the chat. We can do some of that, but it's a chance to give our guests time to let their hair down and maybe talk about some things they don't always talk about when they're on their own channels or some of the other stuff. So let's say hello to the chat, Brandon. Shall we do that? And
absolutely.
Corey Cochran. I skipped myself because my greetings were in there. But Corey, how dare you? LOL.
Howdy, Corey.
How dare you? I think he's doing that for a reason. I think, yeah, he's been funny today. Bucky's crafted. Hello. Bucky's going to be in and out trying to get the kids to bed. Yes, get them to bed. Because Fortnite calls later. Well, the biggest thing is when I start trying to speak French or German. Apparently, Bucky thinks it's so entertaining that she wakes her own kids up. So, the laughter.
I got told a long time ago that when I try to speak French, I sound like a Spaniard trying to speak French. Which is
I took 4 years of Spanish and it barely sunk in. But yeah, I mean, parlez-vous français and everything else, I can't get it. And German's even worse.
Yeah, some
of my German friends have said just stop. So, and Pop Culture Mechanic, good to see you tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Good to see you, Pops.
Yes, good to see you too. Spicy Peach. Busted. Busted. I know who that is now. But hello, Mrs. It's kind of the interesting timing because the Mrs. comes in, hello, Mrs. And then talking with time, right behind the Mrs. is Lady V Elements. She said hello to the Mrs. Yes, because, hey, good to have you. Always a fun time. And Corey Cochran is over there on the Twitch side with us as Ice Raven. And Lady V says hello to you, Brandon. So,
yes, hello to you. It's good to be here. It's good to see everybody.
Well, thanks. And it's good to see you too. You know, because I think the first time we run into each other years ago was probably on a gaming stream with Fortnite. Where you were in the chat. I might have said once or twice to get you to play Fortnite or something. I think my recollection is. And but it's funny how a lot of names I've noted over the years before I ever started streaming were either became streamers or are streamers or just other names of people that don't stream. How long YouTube has lasted. What got you into streaming to begin with?
Well, let's see.
By the way, get ready for it. Yes. All right, go ahead.
The voice.
Enjoy it. See, I wish I had a voice like that. I don't. I'm just as Southern as you can be. I am condemned to this Southern drawl and Southern voice, but hey, you got that deep booming voice. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because whenever I hear myself talk, I think I sound completely horrid. But
that's what everybody.
My understanding is most everybody, they're the harshest critics of their own voice, whereas lots of people tend to say, "Yeah, the voice is there." I can also tell you that microphone setup makes a huge difference. Going back to the beginning. Let's see. I had a channel. It was named something else, doing kind of the same thing, but it got smacked down because someone decided to brigade me, and it's gone, and all my stuff that was tied to it, 15-year-old Google account, screwed basically.
Brigade. What does that mean?
Basically, people, tons of people doing false flagging type of events.
Okay.
So it got taken down once, got it back. They took it down again for the same thing and said, "No, you're not getting it back." So I said, "Okay." It was at that point I was highly upset and in a form of delirium, and I can't remember whose stream I went on, but I just started doing the maniacal laugh like Alucard does from Helsing Ultimate. And I'm like, you know what? That's the Persona-esque form that I'm going to take on. Started a whole new one, got it
Mm-hmm.
going, took about 4 months to get it back up and going. But once I did, it went pretty smoothly. Had a few bumps in the road, but yeah, I've been doing this now. On this particular one, I'm in my third year. So
Mm. Has it been that long? Jeez, I remember when all that stuff happened. And
yeah, it's let's
how
see.
how many subscribers roughly are you at now?
Uh, right now I think about 1,740.
Wow, so
So
that's
I grew
that's
fairly decently.
mhm.
It slowed, crawled, I had a purge of about 100, but
Mhm.
I've since got them back, and it's going pretty
Yeah.
good. I've had a good month, and
Okay.
overall, yeah, I just I do this for the fun of it, and for the S's and the G's, the shits and giggles. So,
Oh yes, exactly. Or you
but
could, as Lady V say, you could do it for the sexy voice. I've not seen that spelling,
ooh,
but really creative.
the
Who else?
sexy voice.
You know who else has a sexy voice? Mrs.
Uh,
Dadman. I'm biased, but I'll say she's got a great voice. And because Lady V says you don't sound horrid, so. But like you said, we're all our own harshest critics with that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that we are.
Now I do know that you do some gaming too, right, on your
Yeah,
streams.
yep,
Let me ask you, because like I said, my first experience was around Fortnite, and I
yeah.
did you kick the tires? I thought you kicked the tires a little bit on Fortnite. Is is it a game that you like? Do you still play it, or what type of games do you really like to play?
Oh man, I don't mind Fortnite. I have to be in the mood to play it. I've never been big on the competitive nature type games. I used to play League of Legends, and I liked playing
Hmm.
League of Legends, but once it started to become pro or professional or has that ability, that's when I'm like, yeah. So
Hmm.
I said I'd like it. I do like that they have a non-building version of it now, which
Right.
to me, I've never understood the whole thing of building crap. That just seems stupid to me. But
Well, I nothing like having a streamer yelling at you like to shoot the buildings down, and I'm like, they're building a friggin' Taj Mahal in 2 seconds, way faster than my rate of fire. I'm doing all I can. Two of us
exactly,
were
I
like screaming like, but now if you ever want to play again, you're invited to let me know because
oh yeah,
me and the missus love playing together a lot. But we also do a thing where we get competitive. We do at times, but we focus on quests. If people don't want to, I mean, we take our time, and we're about the experience and the social aspect because yeah, I've
yeah,
played on many streams like that, and depending on who I've got, sometimes the competition gets up, and I'm not saying the competition is not bad, but to me, Fortnite's become a stress relief and a social
hmm
event. If I can get people out there laughing and picking on us like my driving and blowing up gas stations, or I mean, I parked a damn semi in the top of an inside of a building of a gas station once. You know, if you just, or just misses like one of my buddies, Mark D with a C, has a clip like I'm running out of the storm. I'm like, where did they go? And I turn right back towards the face of the storm, and somebody hits me with those hammers, and I'm eliminated. And the missus like there. It was like those are the moments that I love with the game, the social
yeah.
aspect,
It's
and getting with people and laughing.
it's amazing the metas that have come out of Fortnite. It's getting close to being a 10-year-old game now. It's hard to
Yeah.
believe that it's been almost that long since it came out, but I do like a lot of aspects about it. But as far as what I normally would play,
Hmm.
ooh,
Well, while you're
the,
thinking, let me say hello to Stunning and Brave who likes butts. So.
he is
Uh,
stunning and
Yes, he
brave.
is. Oh man. Well, Bucky's is working on my competitiveness. Something that helps is when I get off, remembering that whoever got me is probably so excited. Oh, I tell you what, Bucky's is lurking, doing stuff, or putting the kids to bed, but she'll pop in here and throw that. So, I mean, man, I get her and the missus together. It could be fun, but yeah, I didn't realize you're that competitive. But then again, Bucky's got a great snark and wisdom to her that she's not shy. She'll let you know about it. So, uh, uh,
Yes. As far as the games that I like to play,
mhm.
really depends upon the era. You know, I'm almost mid 40s, so I grew up in the 80s and the 90s.
Hmm.
I've owned most every game console, had a computer since the mid 90s, and I've always been partial to mostly PC gaming since I got the computer, but I love the classics. I love most of the games that I do prefer these days are typically made in Japan because most AAA gaming and most Western studios are not that good, and that's being very nice about it. But as far as what I've got installed and what I'm playing, I've always got Skyrim. Ever since Skyrim came out, I tried it. I didn't like it originally, but once I was introduced to mods,
Hmm.
that's when that game took off, and you can do close to anything. But I have a particular mod pack that's made by it's called Nulvis Ascension version 5.2, and it basically makes it into a whole new game. And the guy that created it or created this particular mod grouping is putting together version 6 for this year, and wow, I didn't think they could do any better with what they've done this past year, but what he's working on is amazing. That's the type of game that I'd like. I think I've spent more time modding the thing than actually playing it, but love it.
Modding being that you're modifying
Yeah,
the
modifying
game.
the
Or,
game. Yeah.
okay.
Let's see. I love the Borderlands series. It's one of my favorites. Mass Effect was also so fantastic. I love all the old Lucas Arts games,
Yep.
whether it be Dark Forces, any of those, to the point and click adventures. All of those, they all hold a
Hmm.
special place. And as far as what I've got installed right now, I'm playing Nino Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch.
Hmm.
I've got Tales of Symphonia, so I have an RPG game that's not made by SquareSoft. Let's see, I've got Pow World, but I haven't played it yet. But I love the whole idea of Pow World.
I have heard a lot about that game. What is Power World supposed to be? Because I thought there was some
It's
controversy about litigation and and
yeah,
Nintendo.
it definitely pays homage to Pokemon or Pocket Monster type of creatures, but it's basically a survival game where you go and collect these things, and a lot of them do look a lot like Pokemon, but I think different enough to where Nintendo and the Pokemon company can't do anything about it. And if they tried to, they would just update the game and make just enough of a change to avoid the litigation. But that Pow World and Helldivers are the
Mhm.
two current games made by studios that aren't AAA. They're considered AA level. So
Mhm.
they're not part of the massive huge corp, so they're not tied into Microsoft, which I hate with passion. They're not
Yeah.
tied to Soyo. Yeah, basically you got the X Bone Bros, so the Xboxers, the
Hmm.
Soyoni ponies, the Soy Boy Sonys. I can't stand modern Sony, drives me crazy. Love old school Sony.
Hmm.
PlayStation 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, fine.
And I hated
Fourth
it.
is where it stops, so
Yeah, because all this no backward compatibility. The best Star Wars Battlefront game was on the PS2, and
yeah, it
you
really
can't. I
is.
mean,
And
if you don't have the old system, then or if it doesn't work, it gets old. But it's
yeah.
insane. But let
Well,
me
the
say
thing,
hello. Let me say hello real quick to Das
yeah,
Wolfen has come in, and so
Das
is the old
Wolfen.
man. And the old man cometh. Yes, uh, he says, "Got grindy power, got grindy way too fast."
Well, with survival type games, that happens, but
Mhm.
it's technically still in pre-release. It's
Fort,
basically still a beta.
okay, Fortnite still has a story. Yeah, exactly. Why did they release it in beta? I would have thought the game was finished and ready.
That's that's become something that's become very popular over about the past 10 years, and it's precisely because our internet's so good and they can update things so easily.
Mhm.
And at least on the PC side, we haven't had physical copies of games for
Mhm.
10, 15-ish years or so, give or take.
Right.
So it's been much easier to do that on there. But as I was
Mhm.
mentioning, uh, the people behind Power World, they have proven that you don't have to have the major studios or any of those to get things done.
Mhm.
Nintendo is its own special. It's in its own world. I don't pick on Nintendo too much because they are so different and they really don't shoot for the same level of consumer as, let's say, Micro Squash and Soyoni does.
Hmm.
But between them, I've primarily been PC for a very long time, and I've owned all the others, but I've
PC.
got
Okay.
those.
Yeah.
But
My wife plays on the PC. She's actually taken up Destiny 2 also. I'm a console player, whether it's a Switch a little bit or the PS4. So,
see, I like the Switch, and I like my PS4,
mhm.
but most of the stuff that I myself would play consistently, it's all on PC, and ever since both Microsoft and Sony have decided to bring, even if it's timed, start bringing some of their stuff over that were exclusive over to the PC, there really isn't. There was no
Uh,
reason to do that. And Pops is right. At least Nintendo hasn't moved their HQ to California. That's what killed Sony, and I think that's what's killing Sony now. They haven't sold nearly as many units, even though
well,
they've now got
why
supply of it.
when you say it killed Sony, why is that? Why is the factor of that they're located?
Sony Sony moved their computer entertainment division, so the PlayStation division in total, they moved out of Tokyo over
Okay,
to Santa Monica and all into the San Fran, the California, if you want to get
right.
into that. But that's where they moved, and ever since then, they shut down their Japanese studios, and the studios that they do have working for them, Sony has a very bad habit of making stuff, having it be relatively successful, and then shutting down the studio. And the
Hmm.
studios that are left, they're they are so swimming in the ESG DIE Sweet Baby Inc. type of setup now
Hmm.
that very little of anything they do is worth it. And I said the exception to that is Helldivers. But
Hmm.
Helldivers is, from what I remember, it's not done by a first party studio. They're more like a second party. So
Right.
they have a deal with Sony, but Sony's the publisher. They're the maker of it, but they're not directly owned by Sony. At
Right.
least that's my understanding, and
Well,
that's why
I've
that's been so successful. And it's
yeah,
also not expensive.
I've actually had people try to get me to play Helldivers. It's funny.
Yeah,
Democracy, I guess, is the democracy. I've got one friend that's like democracy. Every tweet goes out democracy, and I'm just laughing like that.
it's
But
very much the movie Starship
yeah,
Troopers esque type of game. And
oh, that's too
I,
funny.
as far as Naughty Dog go, I won't say what I think about them because it would involve some 4 letter, 5 letter, six
Yeah,
letter, and 7 letter words that
yeah,
this is a family show. We're keeping it PG.
exactly. So a bit. Das Wolfen said though that early access lets them beta test in real time without having to pay a quality assurance department.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's a good way to do it. Lower your cost. And so our friend Stunning actually named one of his parks in his Jurassic World game California. So
Indeed.
the old man comment said, I play Switch and PS4, but I'm stopping gaming because I don't want all the day and all day when patches are ridiculous.
Yeah. That's become a massive problem. The whole shipping the game or making it available, but then having to
Mhm.
download day one massive huge
Yeah.
patches in order to play it. At least,
Yeah.
at least back in the old days, or even 10, no, I'll push it back, probably closer to 15 years ago,
Hmm.
you could not ship a game typically on the 360, the PS3, or even on the PC that its base version could not be played from start to finish. You may have issues, or some of the bugs
Hmm.
that
Right.
crop up, but at least you could play it start to finish. And then if you
Right.
did patch it, fine, you could do that. But anymore,
Yep. One of
you
the
just
things
can't do that.
like Bucky said, once companies move to California, they tend to focus more on the political people pleasing over customer pleasing. And that could be true of any state that you go. Oh,
Mhm.
yes, because I've heard it's called Controlled Democracy. Her husband is a big fan of Helldivers. I've got people that are trying to get me into it. And then another one said it's a short game and it would be for me. So, but, it will maybe one day. But hey, I think of Helldivers. I think of the World War II dive bombers. But then again,
Yeah,
I'm still stuck in like my kids got tired of me saying because one of the things before getting a Fortnite, I'm like, look, I can't. They got mad at me for spamming the Wii controllers. I'm like, look, I'm from a generation of a controller and a button. you're lucky I can do with all these other little knobs and doohickeys and stuff like that. It's like that's all I can do. So,
Yeah.
and hello to Wade. Good to see a real Wade Nation to new. Oh, thank you. You're cool too, Wade. You keep working on your Yeah, I'm not cool to bugs. Well, Mrs. is taking me camping this week, so bugs. I
Yeah,
like
I'm not big
yurting.
in
I like.
bugs either, so
I know. One year in Florida, we stayed at a yurt. Are you familiar with what that is?
yeah, I am.
That I loved it. AC, nice bed. It's just that's my thing. But no, we're going to go. Thing. Yo, you were the king of the Wii bowlings. Yeah, I know. That started many family discussions around here. Das Wolfen does not play shooters. So, and apparently, Stunning has the missus and I are T Rexes. That we live in the California part. All right. Nice to see. I did want to get back to one of Buggy's questions earlier. Had
Yeah.
for you because you mentioned Helldivers. She mentioned her husband played Helldivers. But the general question, when it comes to the games, are you more into the story? There's something that you must have said. Are you more into the story than the competition aspects? Because that's what she meant to her husband is more into the story.
Yeah, anymore I am. The exception to that would be Borderlands 3. Its story is okay, but the mechanics of that game are so much better than the second one, even though the second one had a vastly superior story. But yeah, primarily single player, story driven. Every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while I'll do an online thing like Fortnite or maybe I'll do Helldivers, but that's just not as interesting to me as it used to be.
Ah, okay. Well, Bucky's likes Helldiver with see, like a lot of I think a lot of the games are that way with friends. It's good if you're just shooting stuff. Peer pressured Whoopa into getting it, working on getting input. Oh, so do you play Helldivers too? Maybe I'll see about Helldivers. I need to get another game too. But to the point here is like with friends. Like I was saying with Fortnite earlier. I rarely play solos anymore in Fortnite. Maybe because I just it's not as fun not having people around because then it gets into what are you doing on the competition. The only time I solo is like to grind to get XP and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I go solo, I stream because I look at because honestly I can enjoy the game knowing I'm talking to somebody or somebody's there, even if it's a small chat. Just having some company with it. I like it's become really a social game to me, and I just the missus will tell you she told I was just like talking. She's like, get a hobby. Well, 2020 happened, and the way I got Dad Man Walking 55, and I don't know if I've told you this, and for the people that may not have heard, 2020 happened. We all know what happened.
Hmm.
Well, I'm sports. This happened right in the middle of March freaking Madness, so the whole world shut down. They closed parks. I mean, there was nothing I could do. No movies, no. And I mean, working at home was cool, but you were here. But it was just like I was starting to, go to bed
Hmm.
before 9 o'clock. I hate that. That's not me. And finally, one day, Ann came in and said, "Dad, I'm worried about you. Come play Fortnite with me and my friends." A teenager say play with your friends. Well, I had no training. I said, "Well, just I mean these." There's so many on a PS4 controller, all the toggle things and the buttons everywhere. I'm like, just call me dead man walking, like a lot of people around call me dead man instead of dad man, because I mean I'd just be dead. I mean I'll walk out and get eliminated, and then when I come back and it's like I was like, oh, you didn't make me dead man. I'm dad man. Kid's like, Dad, I couldn't do that to you. So I was like, well, what's 55? It's just a number because there are dad man walkings out there. And
Wow.
so it had to be a distinguishing on Twitter on the game for Fortnite and stuff. So that's why I've just said with my kids and their sense of humor after playing Cards Against Humanity, I'm lucky I'm not dad man walking 69. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. It could have been so much worse. That's true.
yeah, exactly. Oh, and so Bucky doesn't play. She just watches the hubby play. Uh, Stunning said the old Transformers Cybertron games would have been fun to play with y'all, especially the escalation mode in both games.
Yeah, it would have.
Are you familiar with those games? I'm not.
I remember some of the Transformers games that have come out over the past 10 years, and most of them did look pretty good.
I don't think that I don't know that that's true, but I still know my kid they would have found a way to it. But all right, so Das Wolfen saying that's why he's play. I am doing Detroit Become Human and
Hmm.
Uncharted on his Legacy when I stream. I always prefer a single player game over multiplayer. And I agree. Everybody's different in some ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like solo play and things. what you're doing. Other people like having people around and see, because then depends how competitive you want to be. If you want to be uber competitive, then you get uber competitive people. I like Lady Miss said earlier, or not Lady Miss, Lady V Elements had said about enjoying watching us do Fortnite. We we get competitive. And we
Hmm.
do at times, but you know what? Especially when it's just the two of us, we go on adventures, we do weird things, and just crazy, just having fun with it. And I want to play my games to have a stress relief. So that's the way I do it. That's why I like having friends around. And no, the study said 54 other dad men still roam on the online purgatory. Yes, exactly. Yes, and yes, exactly. And folks, earlier, go back and watch the Miss and I. We had a stream for a friend where Masters Maniac Mexico sent us a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff from his yard sale, and then some of the other stuff were gifts from Christmas that are going to be going out to a number of people from him. And keep him in your thoughts and prayers. We're still waiting to hear from him, and with his recovery from surgery. So definitely keep him in mind and your
Yeah.
thoughts and prayers. Uh, so we're here with Brandon Anime guy tonight. We spent some time talking about video games. Is there one particular video game that you absolutely hate?
The Last of Us 1 and 2, and pretty much, I would say, close to everything that Sony first parties released from the PS4 era on.
Mm,
Mainly because they may have started off real good, like the first Spider-Man game or
hmm
Horizon Zero Dawn. They may have started off good, but man, the second they need to suckle that ESG DIE money, they make them fugly. And
mm.
yeah, bad storytelling, bad character designs,
Ugly
all of
looking
that.
characters
So
sometimes too. So not
yeah.
necessarily the best artwork either. Yeah. What do you think about old retro games like the '80s, like the Miss Pac-Mans and stuff like that?
Oh, I
The
love all
Atari
that
games.
stuff. I absolutely love all that stuff, and I love that's what I love about the PC is the
hmm
ability to emulate all of these things and preserve them really has taken off, and it's you can play some of the classes. You may not be able to play them on an actual piece of arcade hardware or have an arcade stick, but you can still do it. You can still play
hmm
them. So
Well, that's yeah. I know. I like them. We can still find arcades in the malls and some restaurants too. But then again, like PS4, get the either online or you can get the physical media, and play some of the retro games. So I do it from time to time with some of the Atari games, some certain different other types of brands, and it's nice to go old school. We have a Pac-Man museum. Depends on what you want. And the one thing with streaming those games though, you gotta be careful because sometimes when you change games or get stuck, you gotta be careful because you'll end the stream on the PS4 very easily if you're not careful.
yeah,
And
yeah, that you
you
can.
start. It's like if I started playing a single game disc, if I got bored after 20 minutes, I had to start a new stream just to keep going. So all right. As we said, Brandon is the anime guy, and you are the one of the best, well versed people around with anime. We talked about what got you started in streaming. What got you into anime, and what is and correct me if I'm wrong. Anime as a style is different. Is it different than American animation, or is anime just an extension of animation? Help define it. But how did you? What was it that got you into anime?
Well, I remember seeing certain shows as kid, and they were so different than so different than the rest of the stuff, like the He-Mans or that. It wasn't until the '90s that I learned it was anime from Japan, or as it was termed then, Japanimation. But anime is just a short term name for animation. Specifically, at least for us outside of Japan, it differentiates stuff that's made in Japan by Japanese for Japanese people versus what's made anywhere else in the world. But inside of Japan, they don't call it that. It's just animation. They basically treat it just like how we treat regular TV. Animated animated TV shows are extremely popular over there, and anymore over here it's become very popular. But the 90s is where I really got kickstarted with the Sci-Fi Channel. They had their Saturday morning anime. They had their yearly festival of animation. Got to watch so much cool stuff on there, and it makes me sad how bad sci-fi has become. But for a kid in the 90s, Sci-Fi Channel was it. It was just so good. It was everything for, for the nerdy side of a person. So
Well, that's interesting. So, is that where you were first exposed to it on the Sci-Fi Channel?
mostly, as I said,
Mostly.
I do remember seeing Voltron as a kid.
Hmm.
I want to say I also saw an episode or two of uh, uh, Robotech
Well,
as it
and
was known.
you and I
Yeah,
talked about my experience with Battle of the Planets, which
yeah,
was in the '70s U.S. And it's like then all of a sudden I realized I'm told by my kids later that it was based on the Japanese Gotcha Man series,
yep.
and
Science
it's
Team
just
Ninja Gotcha Man. Yep.
exactly, and it's so funny. I've started watching a few of the episodes and seeing the way they keep calling them ninjas and stuff, and seeing the differences between what they did with over there versus over here with it. Because of course over here we got the glorious seven Zart seven, yay!
And no one
Everybody's
ever
little
died.
wonderful. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, over in the other one, I'm like, sort of, this is different. And of course, we weren't even talking about Zoltar. The questions about that. That was something I never knew until a few years ago when my kid said, "Dad, that show was completely different than what you saw because of
Hmm.
the Western censors." And has that? Let me say hello real quick to Simply Steve. Good to see you tonight, Steve. Has the censorship on the Western side actually eased up from what it was in the '70s? I mean, it seems like it had to because we're seeing a lot more graphic and different types of animation and it's coming over unedited, or you can get your hands on the real stuff, not like a U.S. version of a Japanese original.
Yeah, most of the stuff is all on the internet anyways, so
Hmm. Yeah, back
it's
then we
not
had
as
nothing else.
yeah, exactly. So it's not nearly as big a deal as it used to be.
Mhm. Now we talking about now specifically right here. We're talking about animation in terms of the like motion animation, cartoons and stuff. But what about books? Animes and books also, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Their name for comic books is manga.
manga. Okay, manga. Because
But
I know my wife is collecting the Berserk series.
oh
Those with those big, huge volumes. It's like she said. I guess the guy he died a
yeah,
while
Kentaro
back,
Miura died in 2021.
and she's like, I guess it's sort of at a certain point, and she's trying to get everything that she can as it comes out to get
Yeah.
the whole series.
Yeah, Berserk is definitely a dark fantasy. It's about as dark as anything I've ever seen or come across. It's
And
still
I
really
guess
good, but it's dark.
and I guess you read from right to left.
Yeah, yeah. The Japanese, they're a right to left reading, and of course they're a script based language. So there's like
Hmm.
1,000 different characters in the written language or something like that. It's hard, but yeah, for the manga and typically for the manga, it's reading from right to left, so back to front. But the light novels or the novelization of these, they typically release them here as a standard left to right, front to back.
Yep. Um, well, yep. Back to front, right to left. Yes. Um, let's see. Bucky's is asking, what is your opinion on One Piece? It's one that she's been watching for a
Love
while.
it. One
Oh
Piece.
yes.
One Piece is a massive undertaking because Ichiro Oda has been doing it for 25 years now. My
Hmm.
suggestion is take it, cut it into the story arcs, finish a story arc, take a break, come back. I've been on about a 4 month break. I binged about 200 episodes in about 3 months.
Hmm.
So I'm about 1/5 to about 1/6 of the way through the anime, and I've started collecting the manga, but I had to put that on hold so I could pay off some bills before I start collecting a whole ton of crap again. But
Hmm.
I really do like it. There are some filler episodes. They're typically okay. it's a great show, and it definitely exemplifies how they do their storytelling.
Hmm.
It's one of it's there's a reason why it's been so popular for so long.
Mm. I guess she's at Amazon Lily now. He just got a Boa Hancock's good side. Mm. I don't know. What? That's what I
Yeah, I'm
could
not
say.
sure what that means either, but
Yeah,
that's fine.
Bucky. I don't know if the kid got the phone, but hey, that's like what? But hey, so Steve is simply Steve 68 saying there's a channel that shows the first English dub of Gotcha Man from 1972. Battle of the Planets was the second English dub, and when Cartoon Network redubbed it again in 1995, it was closer to the original Gotcha Man than Battle of the Planets.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
They did do that, and on High Dive, they actually do have Gotcha Man and Battle of the Planets. They've got both versions of it on their streaming site, so you can watch either one of them. And yeah, so you're okay. So Bucky's coming up on the time skip. So there
Yeah.
was a time where it wasn't being made or broadcast. So they do a time skip for when where the age that they start at, where they pick back up, and it's been going ever since.
Mm.
So I am not quite that far. So if you're at episode 416ish, yeah, you're a little over 200 episodes ahead of where I am.
Which anime is this? Is this the
That's One Piece.
One Piece? Okay. All right. So all
Yeah,
right. Cool. She's
right around the 500 episode mark is when they stopped production of the anime for a while, and
mm,
they switched from traditional hand drawn, updated the models, and switched over to
mm-hmm.
using the computer.
Yep. Okay. And then Simply Steve reminds us we only got 76 episodes with Battle of the Planets. So now, Das Wolfen is asking, what is the best era of anime, and why is it the 80s, 90s? Because the music was great in the 80s. Hey, the
Yeah,
80s were a great decade. But go
yeah,
ahead,
music was great in
Brandon.
the 80s. 80s and 90s, they really did run wild, especially with the direct to video or the OVAs. There's some wild stuff. As much as I like them, I've actually been rather happy with the stuff that I've seen this decade. There's just been so much good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, One Piece it has over 1,000 episodes.
Almost up to
Jeez.
1100.
Jeez, and I'm sitting there struggling. I mean, I'm almost completely caught up on Legends of the Galactic Heroes, but and
Ooh,
that's
there you
only
go.
yeah. There's just something about the military aspect that draws me with it, and like we've talked about before, it's been a series that I really liked, and the newer version, D News I can't ever say it, the D News. I was like, it was even better with animation than the older version that I saw with my kid, and it
Yeah.
just is amazing the quality work that they do with it. And Whoopa Troopa's here. Hey, Whoopa,
Whoopa!
it was good. Whoopa's answering that the best era was when Pokemon was actually good. Now you sound like the Simpsons now with a comment like that.
Oh yeah, well, that's the problem with some of these shows. If you go too long, you can run into quality issues. One Piece it's had periods of lulls, but not
Mm-hmm.
not like how the other some of the other stuff has. That's been that long running.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, if y'all have other enemy questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you have other questions, let us know, and we'll, whether for me or for Brandon, we'll see what we can kick around and having some. Oh gosh. Oh Whoopa. Oh shoot, Whoopa. I will get you my picks after the stream. Yeah, we're tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're talking sports with JT Kirk, Sci-Fi Mombi, and Whoopa Troopa. We're going to update for the March Madness where we are. I am in the lead. Yay! For once, I'm leading in the picks, and we'll see where to go from there. Talking some Major League Baseball opening day is coming, as well as a Frozen Four in college hockey, and uh, the start of the UFL season, which Whoopa loves. So hey. Now, Whoopa said Pokemon just got pretty watered down and very much became for kids after like Gen 4.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm still stuck on Pokemon of Squirtle. I mean, you can stop with Squirtle. You don't need any more Pokemon than Squirtle. But
Squirtle.
Squirtle. Yep. So we got a lot with that. Now, do you have a personal anime favorite?
Oh
I mean,
man.
you watch so much stuff, but is there one that that you find the most relaxing? If you really want to just watch anime and enjoy it, is there any one in particular that you like?
Oh, there's a few shows that have had either only one season or it took a while to get their second season going that I've seen about 5 times through. And Reincarnated as a Sword was really good, and Goblin
Hmm.
Slayer was really good. But as far as, let me actually pull up my completed list if I can actually find it here. It's a friggin' mess.
Well, while you're doing that, let me hit the misses out there too. The other day we were watching. All right, Corey, go get something good to eat. Hey, thanks for being here, though. Oh, Bucky will be in the mines if anyone needs me. Just come out for a fortnight later. You'll be good. But basically, the other day when we were watching in the theater to watch the new Ghostbusters movie, we're sitting there and we're watching, and then all of a sudden the missus starts punching me in the hip.
Hmm.
I mean, it was like, dang, woman, stop that. She's like pounding away at my hip because she was so excited because they have a Spy Family movie coming out,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's in April coming up. I mean, you
Yeah.
obviously sound very excited. How excited are you? It's just how big is this? Because I've heard about Spy Family.
Huge. Yeah, it did. It's already been out in Japan, obviously, for about 6 months now. It did really well, and yeah, I
Hmm.
cannot wait to see it here. It's Spy Family is one of the newer manga. It's only just a few years old, but it has sold extremely well. The anime has been extremely popular, and it has started almost a new genre of anime, which is the found family. It's not like it hasn't existed before, but it's never had this level of popularity until
Wow, look
now.
at this! Be buying the advance tickets. So yes, yes, it is next month. I believe it's a limited engagement. I think it's only one day, maybe. I don't think it's.
Yeah,
I think.
that's the biggest problem with
Yeah.
stuff like that. They typically have to do it through Fathom events, and they don't get near the love that it should. Just like how Godzilla didn't get the love that it should.
Is it the Godzilla minus one?
Yeah, Godzilla minus
Okay,
one was
well we'll
friggin'
talk about that.
fantastic.
We will
Oh,
get
so
back to
good.
that. We will get back to that. But Mrs. said April 19th, and I can understand because it is a Fathom event. You better buy the event's tickets just in case. You never know. That way you get the better seats you want because you never know. There could be nobody in there, and who knows if everybody decides to go buy it, then you might have it. But yeah, Bucky, Spy Family has a movie coming up. Even if you're not caught up, and actually, Mrs. Did they and Brandon, you might know, is this did they is this being advertised as a news story? Like,
It's
not.
typically how it works with a lot of these. If you've got a TV series or manga series going, and then they do a movie, the movie is typically not considered canon, or it's like a side story. Example: uh, My Hero Academia. They've got 3 movies and a fourth one coming out, but each one of them are in their own little bubble versus how the TV series and the manga has gone.
Hmm.
So most likely with this one, I do think it is in the continuity, and it takes place after. I believe it takes place after the current season that we just had. Whereas, let me see if I can find another example here. Like all the Dragon Ball movies, they're all on their own thing. Or you'll get a series like Gurren Lagann that had 26 episodes, but was a bit uneven on a few towards the end there because of money. They're
Okay.
getting they got a 2 part movie event where they condensed that 26 episodes down into 1.5 2 hour movies, and by doing that it's going to make it's definitely going to streamline it.
Mm,
So
yes. So yeah, that's interesting. I give you something different. Yeah, and Mrs. said yes. They said it was a news story in the trailer. They are
yeah.
going on vacation with a mission added.
Yeah, they did a vacation type arc this season with it, so it's its own thing, and then that's typically how they do it. They separate it, have it be its own thing, and just have it stand on its own. So if
Mhm.
you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the TV show, they'll probably do enough exposition to explain everybody's position within the family, what they do, what they know, and just set up the basic, and then you go with it. And because that's what happened with me. The first thing of One Piece I ever watched was One Piece film Red, and I saw that in the cinema. So I knew nothing about One Piece, but now that I've seen it, I rather liked it. And then going into the TV series, I now understand a bit more, even though I still don't know everybody that was in that movie is still not part of the Straw Hat crew yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, Mister said it looks like Anya swallows a microchip, and then the phone ensues.
Of course,
It looked like
to
a
Anya to
chocolate
do
ball.
something.
It looked like a chocolate ball, not a microchip. But
Yeah, I
there
love
you go.
Anya. Anya is the protect at all costs best
So,
girl.
Spy Family, I guess is it like it says it's a family of their actual spies, or is it like are they
No,
active spies, or what is the premise
let
of
me
Spy Family?
let me actually pull up my Annie list. So, the easiest way to track the anime that you're watching, go to the website annielist.co. When you
Mm-hmm.
sign up there, you can follow me and you can look at all the various lists that I've created. I've got lists from starting from the 70s on up. Not quite. It's not even really like that. It's let me pull it up here and I'll share it with you. So one second
Okay.
here.
If you put that
Spy
link in the private chat,
Family.
I'll put it out there in the main chat.
Here we go. All right. So here is
Here we go.
the synopsis or the Annie list listing for this. So, Spy Family. Everyone has a part of themselves they cannot show to anyone else. At a time when all nations of the world were involved in a fierce war of information happening behind closed doors, Ostania and Westalis, East and West Germany, had been in a state of cold war against one another for decades. The Westalis Intelligence Service Eastern Front Division, also known as WISE, sends their most talented spy, Twilight, on a top secret mission to investigate the movements of Donovan Desmond, the chairman of the Ostania National Unity Party, who is threatening peace efforts between the two nations. This mission is known as Operation Strix. It consists of putting together a family in 1 week in order to infiltrate social gatherings organized by the elite school that Desmond's sons attend. Now, it says one son, but he has multiple sons. So Twilight takes on the identity of psychiatrist Lloyd Forger and starts looking for family members. But Anya, the daughter he adopts, turns out to have the ability to read people's minds. His wife, Yor, is an assassin. With it being in each of their own interests to keep these facts hidden, they start living together while concealing their true identities from one another.
Wow.
Except for Anya, because she knows, but because she knows, she's like, I gotta help Papa, I gotta help Mama. And
Yeah.
it's so good.
Now that
It
sounds
really
neat.
is fantastic.
Now, is this is it? I know the movie's coming out, but I guess it's a series. Which channels? Because I mean, we've got
Yeah,
Crunchyroll,
this is
High
on
Dive.
Crunchyroll.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's where
this
I
is
get my
currently on
Galactic
Crunchyroll.
Heroes. Uh-huh.
They've had they've had they had their first season, but it was broken into two halves. They just actually finished the fall season. They finished the first half of the second season. Sometimes they'll do just a 12 episode season, or sometimes they'll do a 24 episode but break it into two halves and then space it out. So that's what they did here. But the manga it's still releasing. It's very popular. Started back in 2019. Very high score. I've got the first two volumes, and the way that you know that your anime is successful is if it helps buy the manga or get people to buy the manga. And it definitely has done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Crunchyroll has it. And actually, Netflix is going to be
No.
obtaining about
Oh,
6
wow.
shows that have been primarily on Crunchyroll. This
Well,
one being one of them.
Mrs. We may have to watch it because I'm trying to
You'd
watch more
enjoy it.
stuff with her
It's
too.
so
Yeah,
good.
especially the spy angle of it. It sounds really so neat of how you described it. Bucky in here talked about how it was, especially when they don't know each other. The spy, they have to keep it hidden. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Mrs. is actually asking, how does she's on analyst now. How does she find you?
Okay, if you search for me, my user profile is the anime guy 80. So there's a section in here where under I think it's under the social where you can go and follow people, and you can see I've got
Yeah.
quite a few
Okay.
people following
Oh
me,
wow.
and
Yeah.
I follow quite a few people, but let me just put this back
Now,
up here.
Mrs.,
Once
if you want to put the
Mhm.
analyst link in there, not necessarily brands, if you want to just put the analyst link in there
Yeah.
so people can go there, that would be good in the chat. So,
Yeah.
uh, Whoop is asking, wasn't one of the points of the manga to try and get people to actually start dating? Oh, Whoopa, golly.
It wouldn't surprise me. They do the
Eh,
Japanese do have a birth rate problem, so it wouldn't
yeah.
surprise me.
No.
But looking at my profile here, there we go. Come on. I have so many lists that if I go to my list part, it
Right.
starts freezing. So overall,
That big.
I've got 3,400 on
Wow.
various watch lists. I've completed 113. I've got 48 that I'm in process, one that I've rewatched, 10 that I've paused, 78 that I've dropped. I've got lists that I've started for harem anime, horror anime, historical setting, sci-fi, isekai, specific year lists or summer lists, broken down the 20, the from 2010, so the 2010s, the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, all the way back to the 70s. And if you want to know the different eras,
Hmm.
if you follow me, I've got the breakdown. But let
Yeah.
me actually pull up my completed real quick.
Whoopa's being mischievous out there. You're on a watch list? No.
The odds are
Not
probably
there.
the odds are probably there, but
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, I can tell.
these are all the
Oh,
shows, either singular seasons or complete series that I have completed. And out of all of them, as it's Spy Family is one of my favorites. It's definitely one of the better ones of the past of this decade.
hmm. One of
But as
the
mhm.
yeah, go no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
Most everything that I've watched is stuff that I would watch again. Some of it I've
Mhm.
watched quite a few times. Then there are some that I've completed and I'm like, why did I do that? Like this one and this one. No, don't. I'm not going to watch them again. I
Hmm.
liked this one, but it's pretty generic in for the type of story that it is. Um,
Right. Well,
Same with
yeah,
farming.
because yeah, it's amazing how many different things. I mean, you recommend Ponzu and Girls. That was a kind of a really neat one when we got to it. Mrs. and I enjoyed that one together. I talked about Legend of Galactic Heroes. We talked before. I just like that militaristic standpoint. Galactic Heroes is one that would be great to just review the whole series by itself. It's so deep, so meaningful. I'm just so much emotion in all those. But one of the freakier ones that I've ever watched with my oldest was
Hmm.
the uh, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
See, that's been a very popular one for a very long time. And speaking of
Yeah.
which, there's another site that does a service similar to this. It's called My Annie List or My
Mhm.
Anime List. They
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood had been the top rated anime for 10 plus years, probably closer to 15 now.
Yeah.
This show right here toppled it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic show. And I see you, Moon Sausage. I see you out
Oh,
there.
there you go. I saw that. I was going to try to wait till you said a moose
Yes.
sausage. Hey, welcome. And everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Make sure you hit the like button. Uh, Join us. We got Brandon the Anime Guide. We talked video games earlier, so hit that
Yeah.
like button, subscribe. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Great to have Brandon here. So, and with that, I'm just because he had mentioned that Bucky said, asked, "Have you watched any of the
Yep.
Apothecary Diaries?"
Finished it. Fantastic. This past season, as I said, I've been really surprised at how good a lot of the anime has been this decade. Freyren is, S tier. Apothecary Diaries is S tier.
Mm-hmm.
Mushoku Tensei is S tier. Vinland Saga S tier. And all of these are within the past 5-6 years or so. But yeah, out of everything that I've watched recently, these two are definitely in the tops. and they're
Hmm.
right up there with my main favorite, which is Helsing Ultimate, and of course, Tenchi Muyo. You
Yes.
gotta love Tenchi. I love Tenchi.
Oh yeah. We know you love
Moons.
that with your avatars. So yeah. Do you ever find, like the Mister said, sometimes he feels that I've already invested so much time on it that feel the need to finish it.
Sometimes, yeah, and I do need to make a change. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. You're right, Moon Sausage. It is a 10. It absolutely is a 10. Normally, I don't go for shows set in China, let alone in the inner palace type thing. This one was fantastic. And you want to talk about putting
Mm-hmm.
putting money into your production. These two, they're studios that did them. So this one was done by Madhouse. Madhouse is an older studio now. It's older now, and they're fantastic.
So is that like say 16, 17, 1800s, like ancient, not necessarily ancient, but like a period like well in the
Yes.
past? Okay.
Yeah.
See, the Missus has got me addicted to some just regular K dramas and other Asian dramas that, especially when they go back in time with the history, just the fights, the battles, the dress, it just that type of stuff really gets me because I'm a very
Yeah.
visual. So I think some of that could be something that the Missus well, we'll look at it sometime.
Yeah.
So,
You'll
and,
you'll enjoy these two, and they're both fantastic. Typically anymore, I tend to hover in the fantasy area
yeah.
of the TV shows, but every once in a while I'll get something that's set in
Oh,
current-esque time that's really good, like
right.
Assassination Classroom
Yeah.
or Ghosts in the Shell.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mrs. says, if I want freaky, watch Attack on Titan.
No, I
So,
I won't do Attack on Titan. I will not do
you
that.
want. Well, apparently it's freaky because I talked about the thing about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was just the way they brought the deadly sins into everything and stuff, and then you had the overall bad guy it transcended just earthly planes into different it just was such a weird concept, but they did it good. The art, the animation was just fantastic, as well as the plot so solid. But let me say hello real quick to Sci-Fi Mombi. Hey, Sci-Fi, good to see you. We got
Howdy.
Brandon, the anime guy, with us tonight. So Woopa Troopa, Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Panic, Full Metal Jacket, a very interesting and confusing trilogy. I
Yes,
love.
and their
Yeah,
Full Metal
uh,
Panic is
yeah,
it's a unique. The name doesn't really fit into a lot of what happens with it. And of
yeah.
course, I've seen Full Metal Jacket, and I've
Oh
never seen
yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist. But yes, it is an interesting trilogy. That is true.
Full Metal Jacket is one of those movies. When they're done with the drill, I give up on the movie. That movie just the only part I care to watch is with Arlie Ermy in it, and all the drill the basic training scenes. It's the I just
Yeah.
it's comic gold. So, but uh, welcome. Let's see. But yeah, Whoopa also has. If you want real good anime, watch King of the Hill.
Boy, I tell you what, you need to watch that there show. I tell you. And
Oh,
remember to buy the propane and the propane accessories.
we actually have a local gas company. It's the one we actually use, and we driving down the street. They got it on their marquee. They say, they sell gluten-free propane. It's just so. Bucky says hubby likes Frieren, but not crazy about the animation style. So I don't know why.
It's the animation style in it is pretty standard, but
Hmm.
normally when they want to go to a more comedic effect, they'll sometimes go chibi or the very cutesy cut down.
Right.
They don't do that with this. They'll scale back the amount of detail, but the animation in it is absolutely fantastic. It's actually got the best dragon battle sequence of quite a long time. Watch it.
Hmm.
Watch Freyrin. You'll love it. You'll love it. It's really good.
Hmm.
And
Now
of
I've
course, I
got it.
can't forget about
Yeah.
Bookworm.
Yeah. Yeah, because Moon Sausage had mentioned about that. So. Also, what I will also say, Mrs. actually loads into an issue here. Mrs., if you want to get the tickets, you get the tickets and you buy the version you want. But the debate around here is dub or sub. Do you have
Okay.
a preference?
In the modern times, it has to be subtitled, mainly because
Okay.
the voice acting is not as good as it should be. That and localizers with some of these shows have changed things, and it
Mm-hmm.
changes the whole thing. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is the largest single example of it. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when it goes to the current TV stuff, if you can do the subtitles, do the subtitles.
Okay,
Hearing
wait. So,
the
okay, help me. Okay, before I was
Mhm.
getting confused in my head. Sub is subtitle with it in the original language,
With
correct?
the Japanese voice actors,
Correct.
and they
Versus
typically
dub is where the English goes over it. Exactly.
yeah,
Yes. Okay, I got you. Yes, because the missus is adamant about that. That.
yeah. Now there are some exceptions that I will make.
Mhm,
Spy Family is one that I am okay with the voice acting. Now, I don't really care for a lot of the voice actors in it, but it's okay.
mhm.
It's the same with the Assassination Classroom. Same with Ghost in the Shell. I can do the English cast for them, no problem.
Mhm.
I can't do that too well with Vinland Saga. I couldn't do it with Freyrin. The biggest problem that I have with the English voice actors and actresses, they typically are not able to match the intensity that the Japanese ones are able to do, with needing to have certain emotions come through. And then the second part, especially for the female voice actresses, their voices tend to not match the body. And
Hmm.
that's the problem that I
Okay.
have with Freyrin. That's the problem that I have with Goblin Slayer. Same with Mashuko Tensei. Uh, Trigun's
Mhm.
is an exception. Having Johnny Young Bosch play uh, Vash, it's one of the few where the English dub is better than the original, or at least in the original Trigun, and the Japanese will even admit to it. And it's the same with Cowboy Bebop. Same deal.
Mhm.
But most of the others, I tried watching a little bit of Mishuko Tensei in English, and I about wanted to strangle myself, or poke my ears out uh, with pencils. Yeah, that's exactly the same with Akiba Maid War. Same problem. I did like the English cast for Skelly for Skeleton Knight in Other World. This is a fun show, but it's only had just the one season, and it's 2 years old now. But they're still doing the light novels, and they're still doing the manga. So we could get another season, but the same with this one. These two are
Mhm.
funny. They are absolutely fantastic comedies. Fortunately, we are getting more of your boy Kong Ming. I absolutely adore this show. I have the things that I really like. This is a idol-esque type show. It's a singing show, but you get Kong Ming of the third century, Three Kingdoms era of China, who dies, reincarnates as a younger version of himself in Shibuya, Japan, and is destined to help Eiko become the best singer possible.
Wow, reincarnation again. Because I know many of the K
Yeah.
dramas the missus watch, and I watch it. It's like they come back to the reincarnation.
Yeah,
You get the flashes back to the past, brought to the future. It's really interesting.
that's a pretty common theme for a lot of these.
Yep.
So most of them that I have on here, most of them are isekai. The exceptions
Hmm.
are isekai.
Hmm. Well, about to the
It's two.
sub or dub, folks. I put a poll out there, so please vote in our
Yes.
poll. Do you prefer sub or dub, or does it not matter? Because I've seen Moonsauce said sub, you said sub, and Mrs. said absolutely sub. Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
No, somebody like Bucky says prefer dub, otherwise can't pay attention to what's going on the screen. They watched Apothecary Diary sub because they didn't want to wait for dubbed. Uh,
Exactly.
and also, when you multitask, you can't read, watch, and craft at the same time. Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Um,
if you have to read it first in order to know what's going on, it makes it to where you pay attention. And I
mm,
do retain a lot of. I do retain the uh, the Japanese version of it better than I do the dubbed. A few
right.
exceptions, but typically.
And
And
the
yes,
Mrs. mentioned localization can be problematic when airing in other countries, and also
yep,
sometimes voice actors aren't given time to read the script before recording, which is also a problem.
yep. First take or one take Johnny's.
Mm,
So
yep. Well, that
Yeah,
is
there's
very interesting. Very nice selection of stuff right there.
there's a whole ton of these there are a few of them that will get more, some of them that won't, but they should. This one had 2 seasons. This one is hilarious, but it's definitely a 20s rom com ish type show. Uh, very TV-14, bordering on the TVMA.
And that's okay, Bucky. That happens. I know Ang does that. I know sometimes the missus does that. Sometimes you have to have. Sometimes it's hard to just sit down and watch stuff. See, I'll be honest. Like the missus and I talk about it. I like the dubbed version sometimes, like because I can just roll over and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just because I can still hear the talking, I can still hear what's going on and just drift off. But it's but I could actually recently we had developed, and thanks for sharing all that, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to move into something else too, because we kind of hit on the issue, and what really got me thinking about too is the sub versus dub issue. So we talked about Godzilla -1, fascinating movie. Um,
Yes.
but she actually asked me this question because I've argued with her on all the comedies, variety shows. I just put the dub because that way I can listen whatever. She asked me with Godzilla -1 because she knows I'm a World War II history buff and stuff like that and all. And she actually said, because especially the way they started in the context at the ending of World War II and it being in Japan, she's like, if that had been English voices right in that case, would that have changed the effect of the movie? And
Yes,
honestly,
it
I had
would.
to say yeah. I had to say yeah, it would have, because especially with World War II standpoint, would not have been seeing them talking in English right there, and it did make a big difference that it immersed you in that time period with the actual language of the area, not English voices over something Japanese, and that to me was one of those keys times that actually proved the point about why subbed is better than dubbed. Although if you can't, like Bucky said, you may have times where the dub version is what you have to go with because so that you can get other stuff done. Or like the missus there with, and hello, your Muslim uncle. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you tonight. And hell back to
Yes.
you. Great to see you as always. There was one that came out, The Boy and the Heron, I think recently. I heard
Yes.
great things about it. But the missus didn't go because it was only dubbed. She wanted to get the sub version. Our theaters did not show the sub version. But now, Mrs., I think you said of the one Spy was it the oh yeah, like she said earlier, Spy Family will have multiple showings of both dub and sub. Mrs., if you go get the tickets and pick whichever format you want, so I will do whichever you would like to do. But yeah, but Godzilla -1. Before we even get into the beauty of that movie, it was a case where anything other than sub would have taken away from the effects and the immersion in the movie. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Had they done an English dub for that, it would have been a travesty.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that they said no, and I'm glad that they told a more traditional esque type of Godzilla story. That's the first one I've ever
Yeah,
seen,
and
and it
it's
was
the I
fantastic.
can't remember the name of the studio, but it was the studio that released the original Godzillas too. It starts with a
Toho.
Toho, yeah,
Yeah.
Toho, and it's like it was so different because like the missus and I will tell you hell all these stupid Godzilla movies and Kong movies that have come out, and it's like please eat the humans, please step on them, do something we don't like, can't stand them, the Millie Brown chick and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
please eat
Legendary
them.
doesn't know what they're doing.
Well, and also the story where somehow they're in America, and the next thing you know, they're over in China. Just like, how the hell, how did y'all get there? You got Star Trek teleporters all of a sudden or something? Yeah, but it's like but the movies just have been so bad, and I know there's a new Godzilla Kong coming out, but and like the missus said, exactly, they made it for the Japanese audience, but it was gay. It like you said, it took us back to a traditional monster movie, kaiju movie. I mean, we noticed it with the people running in the streets, the oh my Godzilla's right there, and then they're like panicked. It just was so was a great thing. What about Godzilla did you that got your most really got you into that movie?
Surprisingly, it was the human element. The time, the
Yes.
rebuilding of Japan, they were all very good and excellent at what they did. And of course, Godzilla is a walking natural disaster, unnatural disaster. So to have Godzilla be played precisely as that, not trying to understand it, not trying to communicate with it. That thing
Or he
is
and Kong have to get along, you know.
yeah, he's out there to Godzilla's out there to cause mayhem and destruction, and the humans have to figure out how to stop that from happening and defend themselves. And I, as I said, it's definitely one of the best films that I've ever seen, let
Hmm.
alone one of the best ones that have come out of Japan.
Hmm.
I need
And
to
what's that?
I need to embrace my inner Kurosawa. I need to watch a lot. I need to watch his films.
Well, Mrs. had actually said that it was a human factor. It's the first time in a long time that we actually did not cheer against the humans.
Yep.
We actually cared for them, you know what they were going through the whole time, and all the experience, and I think that the language actually did immerse you further into it, and it was like you said, seeing the rebuilding of Japan and the whole cultural aspect, the fact that you had a kamikaze pilot that returned. Well, there was a lot of stigma with that. I mean, that even historical documents show that, because there was an expectation
Yep.
with that if you were in those cores, and um, it happened. And it was interesting seeing the ground crew not questioning him. They actually kind of understood, but his fear took over again when Godzilla started attacking the island, and you know, but it cost other people's lives. I still don't think that the cannon on the gun on the plane would have done a darn thing to got that Godzilla monster, but
No.
in their mind it would have. At least it'd have been something. But that the most amazing, I think, with that movie, that I really think though, was not just how well they did it, but when they brought it out in black and white. Did you get a chance to see the black and white or
I
the
didn't. I really
like?
should have, but yeah, that just makes it even more tense and more gritty.
Mhm. It did, but not only did it do that, I actually enjoyed it better because I could see more detail in the black and white. Like in color, there was so dark at night and on the island and stuff. But in that minus color, you could see in the dark. You could see details on Godzilla. His eyes really looked a lot more demonic. I mean, they looked a lot more possessed and crazy in black and white than even in color. And hello, co-host Vic. Good to see you. And yes, Mrs. brought it. It brought the movie to another level because color was great. It was a wonderful movie, but that the minus color was just over the top. And the sound effects too. You had your traditional Godzilla movie sound effects, that iconic theme song. Uh,
Hmm?
the and like that big horn sound. When the city's all falling apart, and then you get that music. It rolled all together with that. And what? Let's see, Toho originally, it was the original studios for the original movies, and like Mrs. had said, like it seems like the taught that it was made for a Japanese audience, not American audience. But then again, how many? It's like a commonality. We see a lot of this. I don't think we can say it's universalistic 100%, but how many times are we seeing stuff from Japan coming over here where it's being eaten up and consumed at such a greater level, loved and appreciated than what American studios even try to produce for American audiences?
On the on that front, that's the first one to really do it in a very long time. In the comic industry, the mangakas have been completely decimating and destroying the sales here. Out of all the graphic novel sales in this country, 19 out of 20 of the tops from last year
Mm-hmm.
were mangakas. So
Mm, yeah. It's just and that's against like Marvel, DC, the
Yeah,
big
Marvel and
studios.
DC are
Yeah.
trash. They're
Yep.
absolute gutter trash. Most of the
Yeah.
independent studios are okay, but
Hmm.
it's just one of those things. It's just not gonna. They're not gonna be able to get that type of scale. So
Nope. Yeah, it's really really interesting to see how that was. What were some of your favorite movies of parts of Godzilla minus one? What really wowed you in that movie?
well, the initial Godzilla encounter was quite interesting. Having him stomp on everybody,
Yeah. Yes.
getting the main character getting home, and everybody knows that he's disgraced himself, disgraced his family, and all all the honor stuff that goes with it. Seeing how bad it was, and then him having him getting his family home, which is mostly destroyed, bringing in bringing in the woman with the child there and helping them, and then just seeing what he has to do for a job, the danger that he has to go through in order to be able to afford to be able to take care of them. He basically has a found family, but it's through his dedication to his job, and then finding a way to be able to defeat Godzilla. And the other part, his journey was fantastic. All of their journey together was fantastic. The part that really got me was right when when they are told that they're on their own. They are the defense force. Basically, the Americans can't help
Hmm.
because we're having problems with the Soviets and other things like that. The scene where the old captain, the old admiral, basically come out and said, "Hey, if we're gonna do this, let's do this right. We are not the Japan that we were a few years ago. We're not going to sacrifice anybody's life unnecessarily. We're not going to commit hurry curry if we screw up. We're not that way anymore. We have got to
Hmm.
forge a different path forward." That was profound to me. And I know that with Japanese culture since, since the war, that they have taken on more of that pacifist-esque level to themselves. And in some ways it's good, other ways it's bad, but having that in this movie with the war still being so fresh and still in the rebuilding phase, after surrendering to us, yeah, I thought it was very profound. That and the little girl that they found in there, she reminded me so much of Anya. It was so damn cute. So
Yes.
so cute.
I'm
So
trying to I'm trying to there's a specific I'm trying to come up with a with actual term because there was a movement that started I think in the 1900 18 to 1900s, and it's like the Kenshi. I'm I'm trying to remember what the term was because it brought back the old warrior code, the shogun code, and
hmm
that's that was the Meiji period
yeah.
is what it was. The Meiji period, the Meiji dynasty, accompanied the rise of militarism in Japan in the 1800s, and uh, but of course, then we see what happened. We see the way he was treated. Like you said, he had a fall coming back. He was not treated well because the whole spirit was it's a one way street. And if you didn't, it's like this. The neighbor said, "You didn't do your job. This is because you didn't do your job." That mattered that you and I. Yes, thank you, Whoopa. The Meiji Restoration. Thank you. Um,
Yep.
and that's because that really had to go in the culture with that time, and really it was the scene when they're trying to get the volunteers. They said, "No, we're not going to make anybody do it," and they went in and said, of course, then the practicality is these are stripped down destroyers. They have no armaments. What are we going to do? But as we saw, a big heavy cruiser was stood no match against Godzilla.
Yeah.
Um,
An actual
but
armed one.
mhm. And
Yeah.
this movie had that journey because, like you said, there was that win or nothing, you know, attitude, the Hirikiri, the kamikaze, all that, and we saw that attitude but we saw not only him grow through it and become braver and to do whatever, but even the neighbors soften, and we saw all the characters develop really. There was not really a character that did not develop in this whole movie. We even even the kid that kept getting ignored. You're too young and too. He comes in and helps save the day at the end with the useless people, the nobodies, and truly, if it was a case where we got a great. We got a great movie that actually focused on the humans. Now, some people may have a complaint that there was not enough Godzilla in it. I can kind of understand that, but then again, you know, when Godzilla was there, it was all powerful, top of the line,
Yep.
and it's nice to have a movie though you didn't want the humans to all die and get eliminated. So, all right, well, hey, anything else you want to say on Godzilla -1 though?
Oh, we better get a 4K release of it, otherwise I'm going to be pissed.
Make sure you subscribe to Brandon. Here's his link. I put it out here too. The missus also wants to get a set of the -1 and -1 color. Don't know where it will be released. Will be available in Japan. Hey, actually, I think we know a few people in Japan. We might be able to see if we can get them to buy some and ship them to us. But you never know. Use the connections. But I imagine with the popularity of that movie, it will be here at some point. So
It better be.
Exactly. The missus said, I felt for the neighbor. Beginning of the movie, she hit him because he returned. Near the end, she hit him because he was going to die. Because that was after when he returned after he did that mission. Loved the growth of all the characters.
Yeah, it was just fantastic all around, and it's one of the few movies that I've seen in the cinemas. I just don't go. There's nothing there to go see, but that one was worth going to see. I would have taken Mrs. Anime, but she doesn't handle the subtitles too well, so which is a shame.
Yeah, and and I have sympathy for that. I usually struggle with them too, myself, but the missus hit me with that question though. There are some movies that it makes a difference. It truly does make a difference. And not just this one, because it started at World War II. There was also one that came out that was actually released in the theaters in 2020. I live in a state that actually barely closed, in Florida. We were down for a little bit, but they reopened a lot of stuff. And by the way, I also put Mrs. link out here. She just crossed 200. Go subscribe to her if you haven't already. And I'll talk more about her daily shows. But the movie is a movie called the 800. It was about the Sino-Japanese war, back in the 38, 39. It involved the prefects in China and stuff. You had the British there just watching, and it's based on a true story. And it was interesting, but that's another movie where it was all subtitled. But again, it made the movie and put you in the context. It would not have been the same with having English voices on something fully Chinese, and it really added to the ambiance and the atmosphere. So, have you ever? I don't know. So, see, Brandon, I'm saying I'm not a fan of the sub, but then I understand and recognize there are times where sub does make a difference, too. And keep the misses over 200 because YouTube will take a few away by tomorrow.
Yeah, that they do. They like to mess around with that.
Yeah. Well, in the few minutes that we have left, real quick, let's throw a little bit. What type of hobbies that are not anime? What is some of the stuff that beyond the gaming and the anime that you kind of like to do? We've
That's
talked
pretty
before
much it anymore.
Oh, that's it anymore.
That's pretty close.
Oh wow.
I love sports. I have always loved sports. I loved baseball as a kid. I loved football. I loved basketball. 80s and 90s, baseball, basketball, football was peak. And ever since then, pretty much with baseball, I used to watch Major League at the start of the season. I love Major League. That is such a fantastic movie. But
Oh
you
yeah.
don't have the Indians anymore. You don't have the Redskins anymore. And hell, they just released the thing for the NFL. They can't do a certain type of tackle anymore. They might as well just call it a day. Put flags on the guys, have them wear tutus, and just start running around looking like pansies all the time. Football, professional football, especially the NFL, has become such a 4, 5, 6, 7 letter word league. I'm glad I
Mhm.
stopped watching 10 years ago. I can't stand them. Goodell is the death of everything. The sports betting was the first nail. This change to
Yeah.
the rule with how tackles can be done. That's going to be the biggest domino that's going to eventually lead to the downfall of the NFL. It's inevitable. Baseball has had a lot of the same problems. I cannot stand to watch modern baseball because they've changed the game so much. It used to be, I remember when
Mhm.
interleague never occurred. Interleague was,
Yep.
when they started, it was rare. It was only supposed to be just a little bit. Now it's like, why do you even have leagues? Why do you,
Mhm.
the
Yep.
DH rule? The NL
Yep.
never had that, but now they have it all the time now. Or the whole speeding up the game, the pitch, trying to keep the speed up, and all these other things. How they handle extra innings now, or in the NFL, how they handle overtime. It absolutely drives me. It. I haven't had a drink in over 10 years. It drives me to drink. I despise it that much. It pisses me
Oh
off
man.
so bad. So I can't
Mhm.
do baseball. I
Yeah.
can't do football, and that's just on what they've done to the game, not even going into the extracurriculars that all of these leagues have started to go into. And basketball, I I'm going to push the PG-13 just a bit. The
Okay.
NBA is the NBA is bitch made. I cannot
Mhm.
stand what they have done to that league. Ever since LeBron showed up,
Yep.
that's when it went to hell. That's when that league started to go to crap. The last good team, the last great team, the last real team was the Spurs. That was a team. You go back before that, you got the
Robinson,
Lakers.
Ginobili,
Yeah. Robinson,
Parker. Yeah.
Ginobili, uh, Parker,
Yeah.
and Timmy.
Yep. Yep.
That was a unit. They stuck together. They did what they needed to do. They didn't do what LeBron did, which is whore himself out to the highest bidder. I don't blame him for getting paid. But what I don't typically agree with Charles Barkley anymore, but I do agree with him on this. Charles stayed with the team. He only played for 2 teams,
Yeah.
but
The
he stuck with them because he wanted to build the team to win. Le,
Philadelphia and Phoenix. Yeah.
yeah, whereas
Yep.
LeBron went where he thought he could win, didn't matter anything else.
Well,
I
and also,
cannot stand him.
well, his son is a college player, which always was, big recruiting type thing. And now I think he
Yeah.
averages not much per game. And now there's rumors about the NBA, the draft. Where should he go? What should it's like, dude? He can't even
The
score
kid
more than
can't
five.
play.
He can't even score 5 points a game in college. So
Yeah,
what is he to get
he's
drafted high?
he didn't. Well, he does have some good genetics. That's
Mhm.
given.
Yeah.
But there are some things that have happened related to stuff that happened in 2020 that I think is
Yeah.
causing him problems now. That's just my own estimation. I probably could be wrong, but
Yeah,
I know that he's
I've
had
seen
some
some of the
conditions.
reports. Yes,
So, yeah.
exactly. Well,
But
it's a brave new world with all things about magical conditions these days,
yeah.
and it's happened with a
But
lot of players. I mean, and unfortunately, a lot of some are able to come back to action, and others aren't. But hey,
yeah.
you want a sport that is like the old NFL that's really will not let you down, that you really want, and of course, it's not American.
It's rugby.
Rugby,
Yeah.
exactly. We've actually watched rugby before, and one time we actually saw a guy get his head split open, and they just
Ooh.
ran him to the side and just duct tape, really seriously, just duct tape wrapped around his head on top of his hair, and he went right back in.
Now
Went back in.
that's real, man. That's how the NFL used to be. It's an
Yeah,
interesting thing,
exactly.
ever since the whole CTE thing with the NFL came about, they have become uh the no fun league, and it's just getting
Right.
worse.
Well,
Defense
because
can't play defense.
yes, but the old days you just bash the hell out of the receiver coming over the middle. But then
Yeah.
no wonder Brady can have a great career because there's no threat coming over the middle because the old days the middle linebacker or the safety would knock your helmet off. You had
Yeah.
alligator arms because you were afraid. Nowadays they don't. I mean, they're because what'll happen is more than likely if you hit them hard, it'll be somehow with the head So it's targeting, and you're ejected from the
Mm-hmm.
game. You know, there's so many,
They've
and the people.
wussified it.
One of the problems though that I have talking about, everybody likes to bitch and moan about the officials. We haven't even gotten to baseball yet because I do want to say something with baseball. The, but the thing is, I will say I've officiated. Hey, Mr. Angel, welcome. Good to see you.
Howdy,
If you
howdy.
got any thoughts of anime, let us know. Bring the anime guys with us. We had moved into sports ball a little bit, but we don't mind. And whatever time, let me know if you have to go, Brandon, or how much time you've got. But because
I'm doing all right.
okay, because I could talk forever. You know, we ended up starting with an hour stream, and the next thing, 5 hours later, we've go. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like to bitch about the official special day, but yeah, you had to see me officiate a high school basketball game because I tell you what, you know. But I will say in defense of some of the officials, and I know some say, well, they're pro or pay them and pro. But to your point, there's so many rules in the rule book now in so many sports,
It's too
and
hard.
so many involve judgment calls.
Mm-hmm.
The action is so fast. These players are bigger than ever. They play at such a speed. It's hard to officiate in a sport like basketball or football when you
It
got a
is.
lot of human contact. Don't agree. Baseball, I think they're just some very incompetent boobs with it. The
That sounds about
baseball,
right.
baseball is, and like you said about inbreeding play, that's what I call it. It's inbreeding play because
Mm-hmm.
there's no different or distinction. Your brother is your sister. It doesn't matter anymore nowadays. New York Yankees, New York Mets, not matter. We'll just still, do what take your brother out on a date. It's kind of the way I feel like, because in the old days, what made there is no tradition left in baseball. And the reason
Nope.
why we're going into this tomorrow night at 9 p.m., join me, Whoopa Troopa, Sci-Fi Mombi, and JT Kirk as we will be on our second week as a Sports Weekly with Dad and friends. But that's what made the tradition. You had National League, American League. One had the DH, the other didn't. They were distinct. They had their own league offices. They had their own baseball caps at AL and NL. They were separate. Nobody would meet until the World Series. Not the playoffs, but the World Series. It made the regular season special.
Yep.
It made it worth something. Now it's like every other damn league. Why do you have 32 or however many teams there now? Why do we need that many professional baseball teams if we're going to just jumble up into one big pot?
Exactly.
The whole distinction was you had half of them here, half of them here, that made the regular season mean something. And you know what? You want to play the Yankees, or if you're the Cubs, you want to play the White Sox, get good and get to the World Series, is what it was. Nowadays, and then it's just not that. What breaks my heart is the friggin' Wrigley Field. Wrigley
Mm-hmm.
Field should not even have ever had damn lights put in it, as far as I'm concerned. But it did. It changed. But they couldn't stop there. The last time I watched a damn Cubs game, and I'm sorry, Bucky, I know I'm blast off the language, but at the damn Budweiser signs, yes, nobody's like Budweiser except Harry Carey in Chicago, but seeing that big neon sign out there, seeing all these commercial billboards within the ballpark, and all this other stuff, that's when I grew up, and that's what minor leagues did. That's where that minor leagues had to make their money, were on advertisement, stuff like this. Now it's like slap a logo on it and charge money. No wonder fans can't go to a game,
Mm-hmm.
because now they have to pay the owners want all their profits, the players demand all the money, and then you got television contracts. You priced all the average fan out of so much of this stuff. Now, to go to more than a game or two, our local minor league baseball. Minor league baseball has gotten crazy, and it's like $15-$20 a part right out of the gate. All for a parking spot of something. Just all this runs together, Brandon. But when but some of that and the prices you could deal with, but destroying the tradition and uniqueness. One of Whoopa, you talked about speeding up the pace of the game. Yeah, this pitch clock thing. If you're the umpire, tell the batter to get his butt back in the box. Or tell the pitcher, no, you don't get time. But
Yeah.
and then the kicker was extra innings. We got to do the runner on second crap.
Yeah. That's horse crap. That really is. It's so terrible. So I
Yes.
haven't watched any of them in so long. The only one that I was considering was the NHL, because they were going to stop being such little, basically stop being bitch made, and didn't even take a week, and they reversed all their crap, and their game is still purer or closer to what it should be, but their bending of the knee on certain subjects is just too much, and I can't do it. I
Yeah,
won't do it. So
and
and I
I
can't do
understand.
I can't do
I know.
golf anymore either. Same
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. And I know that's see, it's like it's a decision everybody has to make for themselves,
Yeah.
truly. Because see, it's like some people are like this or that, and I don't know what I believe politically and stuff like that. But I will also I'd say, like the missus said, get a hobby. Well, if I went around boycotting, banning everything, I would, my sports is what I like. I'm not a reader. I'm not. I mean, I will pick up stuff at the time. I'll get my feet into some of these things. It's good being exposed to people like you, learning about other stuff that's out there in different environments and different genres. But me is sort of who I am, and I will say it is really tough sometimes. I mean, even college
Yeah.
now. Whoopa said Ghost Runner is awful, despises Manfred, and
Yeah,
uh,
Manfred, as much as I didn't like Sea
yeah.
League, Manfred is
Mhm.
way worse.
Wow. There you go, Whoopa. You got company. Uh, so they're getting harder into they're really taking away the physicality in the NHL. Yeah, they do. We don't have the fights. We don't have anything anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. So uh, they're making some BS changes in the majors, juniors. Oh, at the hockey level, yes, yeah. I, that's the thing is, okay, yeah, I can deal with whatever the politics. You know why? Because I can either Mrs. actually did this for me once. Well, one I
Hmm.
can actually mute during the national anthem or what have it over so much, but the Mrs. did it for me, and I do not. Mrs., do you remember when it was or what it was? She actually took these green papers, like green post-its, made a chain of them, and we put them at the bottom of the TV to cover up the crawl
Mm.
because it had the constant political statements and this, that, and the other for a while. And she is like, screw you, I'm not listening to that crap. So oh, and Bucky said hockey games don't break out at wrestling matches anymore.
I loved professional wrestling too, even though I know it's not real. The 80s professional wrestling was awesome. The 90s was great. The Attitude Era of the WWF, yes, the WWF. Once they turned into the WWE because the
Mm-hmm.
World Wildlife Federation or whatever won their suit and got the name. Ever since they had
Really,
to change the name, they have not been very good.
really,
Yeah.
really. They're letters. How can I guess if
They
they had
somehow won a
WWF
trademark suit or
trademark it? Yeah,
something, so
yeah. It's just amazing. Maybe they did because I mean they're the World Wildlife fan. Well, I guess if you
yep.
trademark WWF first, then oh, Mrs. said the physicality is real, but it's farcical now. Yeah,
Yeah.
they take
Yeah.
a couple
Professional
of
wrestling is
ghost
pretty
punches.
terrible. So
Yeah. All right. Well, Brandon, thank you for your time tonight.
yeah, absolutely.
Hope you enjoyed talking about some other topics too. Definitely loved talking some more anime with you too. But hopefully you had a good time and enjoyed covering some different things. Do you have any other questions for me, or do you have anything you want to talk about at this point before we start to wind down?
I think I'm pretty good on most things, although I do want to for tomorrow I am doing my Tuesday show, the Otaku Gamer, and I actually have a
Yeah.
game developer coming on.
Oh, that's cool. Well, let me go ahead and talk. You want to talk about that a little bit? Here's your link.
Yeah, let me get
Subscribe
the
to
screen
Brandon over
shared
there.
and I'll show you who it is. So, I started following Roz Games. He is a solo indie developer who's focusing on 90s style arcade games. So,
Oh,
from
wow.
what I understand about him, I've talked to him a little bit. He was working for another large developer. Stuff happened, left. Coof happened. He's in Britain. Things are always in flux for him, but he has been working on his game called SPGP, which is basically a 90s throwback racer. And his ambitions on this is actually rather impressive, considering all of this is made just by him. No one else, it's just him. The amount of progress that he's done in a short amount of time is absolutely astounding. And let me switch screens over to the Steam here. So, if you would, be sure to follow him on go to if you have Steam, which you should, wish list his game. If you'll load that up there. There we go. So SPGP Super Polygon Grand Prix. His goal with this is to have it look as good as possible, but to have it run very fluid and smooth. So fast-paced 90s arcade action type of racer. He's designing everything to run on modern widescreens, but he's also designing the user interface to run on traditional 4x3 type of arcade panels. And he is going to have this out in early access here in May. But I'm going to have him on. I'm going to talk to him about it, see where he's at with everything. But he's going to have 20 plus vehicles, 48 tracks. He's been a very busy person getting this up and going. But definitely, if you haven't wishlisted this, go wishlist it, because that will help him gauge where things are at. He is releasing this on the PC first, so he's doing it right. PC first, ported to a console system second. But from all this stuff on Twitter, you can follow him on Twitter, is he's wanting to make it as good as possible with just him. Get through the early access, get the game sold, and then once things pick up for him, port it over to another game system, probably like a Switch, maybe to a PlayStation. But it's going to be interesting talking to him. This is a first for me, so yeah, it'll be fun. And I can't wait to play his game, because everything I've seen that he's shown about it, yeah, it's fast. It's good looking, and it won't take too big of a system to run it.
Well, see, that's why I love new topics and doing different things. I love the certain things that I do. I need to get back to doing more history, but there's some topics that I love. But I like tonight talking some anime. I've been on your show talking anime. There's other times I've talked to people about cooking and gardening. It's really, really cool so much to do some different things. It truly is. So, all right. So remember, go subscribe to Brandon over there. Brandon, the anime guy. Thank you for being here tonight. And
absolutely.
Let me also shout out the missus also, folks. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe here. But also check out the missus channel, Mrs.DadmanWalking55. Every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, she has her morning muses with Miss Dadman, where you get your daily dose of positivity. If you will need a laugh, come listen to the show, because she laughs so hard. Sometimes I have to call and make sure she's okay, because it just... somebody makes himself laugh, memes and other stuff. It's really, really a hoot. Check it out with her show. And also check out her build streams too, where she builds different things, like some Lego sets, non-Lego sets, some, national park figure things, just all kinds of different things that, it's not your average build stream. So, but, with that, and Punk Waddles, hello. Hello, Punk Waddle. Good to see you. We're here right at the end, so hopefully you can go back and hit it up later when we're done. But good to see you coming in tonight, Punk Waddle. Good to see you. Bucky is saying hello to you too. We got 13 great people here. Thank you so much. Follow us on Twitch. Also hit that like button and subscribe here on the YouTube side. With that, let me do this real quick as we shut down, as we are on our way out the door tonight. I am bringing up a few slides of stuff that I've got coming up. So make sure, check out Brandon's stuff tomorrow night. Check out our stuff too. Just there's so much stuff on YouTube these days. You can find something of anywhere you want. The one thing I like with the missus, it's a good place to just go laugh and have a good time, get away from problems, politics, and everything else in the world that you may not want to have to hear about. There's enough misery in the world as it is, and enough crap. So, and that's what we try to do a lot of times over here, except when I make an occasional rant about something, but I'm a cranky old geezer. So, never did I think I'd call myself that one day. Oh, there we go. So here we go. And all right, like I said earlier too, let's see. Sci-Fi Mommy, don't leave yet. My computer's deciding to be slow, I think. Come on.
Go, computer, go.
I know it's the hand-me-down, so all right. Come on, do it. It's now not want to share my screen. So, oh my goodness, all right. Well, hey, we will just tell you like this. Join us tomorrow night at hello, comrade Pug Waddle and Sci-Fi Mommy is still here. All right. I'll try it one last time. go present, share screen, and it is not there. All right. So much for the graphics I had that the missus has worked. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m., join JT Kirk, Sci-Fi Mombi, Whoopa Troopa, myself as we talk sports. We will at least have definitely updates on March Madness. We will talk about the first week of the UFL and opening day of baseball coming up. Maybe some other stuff depending on how much time we have and what we are doing. So, oh yes, I know, Whoopa. I know. I have not stopped since I left work today, so I will get them into you very, very soon. So, but yeah, I'm going to try it one more time. It will not share. Have you ever had that where StreamYards would not share something? I can't even
Yeah,
present
every
it.
now and then it'll get stupid.
I cannot even present it. So, but anyway, well, enough of that. But join us tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for Sports Weekly with Dadman. Our chill chats are some things that we do sometimes, right? Usually are solos, maybe an occasional guest on that. Those are impromptu, along with Fortnite fun. Sometimes I'll get a crowd together and we'll play. A lot lately, I've been playing with the missus in Fortnite. Also, occasionally, we'll do a late night with Dadman and friends where we just jump tree to tree. We go squirrel hunting, and we just have some fun with whatever we talk about. One night, we decided we talked about 25 topics in like 4 hours. I mean, we were bouncing all over the place. And actually, one time we talked about breakfast cereals, but it took us 3 shows to get it completed.
Well, breakfast cereal can be delicious.
Exactly. Well, we were squirrel chasing so much we couldn't stay on topic. So, but folks, for me, I'm on youtube.com, twitch.tv, both at Dadman Walking 55. On Twitter, I'm at Dadman Walking 55 also. Or as the missus says, if it doesn't have the G, it ain't me. Yeah, there's a fake out there that has the exact without the G and with the same avatar. And go figure. So
you gotta love morons like that.
Yeah. And I was like, not even near 500 when it happened. And actually, the bad thing is it actually caused drama with some friends.
Oh.
So it's like, if the life's not difficult enough, then you get trolls making problems. But hey, well, you know what? Maybe you're doing something right. Oh, yes.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Angel's tired, 4 a.m. here, just woke up, need breakfast. We'll go get some breakfast. There you go, sir. And of course, he's a chef, so he cooks everything very good. I've said, wait, what happened? Oh, I thought I told you about it. Yeah, there's somebody out on Twitter that has my name except the G, but uses the same avatar, and it's still out there. But yeah, but nothing's happened lately, so we keep an eye on it. But I think that might have woke him up. He went from tired 4 a.m. to wait, what? What happened? Oh my gosh! But hey, it's been fun. Yeah. So just keep an eye, get the notifications on Twitch, on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter because I always tweet when we go live. So hey, make sure you have subscribe, hit the follow button. Oh gosh, Mr. Angels, my brain is still. I know it's still starting up. Just think. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another late night stream, but I need to check with the missus. But on that note, Brandon, thank you again for your time tonight. We appreciate it so much. And everybody, hope you all have a good day, good night, and good whatever. And we will see you next time. Bye, all.
Take care. Thank you.